I have a lot on my plate this year. I have a powerlifting meet in April, an ultramarathon in May, my medical school board exams in June, and 2 more marathons later in the year, which at that point I'll be starting my clinical rotations. Now, balancing all those commitments and doing all those things seems very challenging, and it is very challenging, and I know I'm gonna have to be better for it, but I feel a lot more confident going into it, and that's because I learned something last year. So I learned that I have a superpower, and in fact, we all do, right? And it's not super strength, it's not invisibility, it's something a lot more simple. It's the ability to say no. I want to rewind back and talk a little bit about my story. It probably had to do with growing up with immigrant parents and never really hearing the words, "good job, son," a lot when I was growing up, right? And like a lot of us, we end up developing a lot of people-pleasing tendencies. This reared its ugly head a lot during my adult life, but it especially showed its head while I was in my first year of medical school, where I struggled a lot. I said yes to hangouts, yes to parties, yes to this or that, and eventually ended up sacrificing things that were good for me to make them happen. The gym, my diet, my chill time. It also led to me overpromising and underperforming in all of my relationships, and that includes the relationship that I had with myself. It was at that moment when I really started to feel like things were really falling apart, I felt overstretched, and that all came from the inability to say no. If I wasn't such a people pleaser back then, if I just had the backbone to say no, right? I wouldn't have gone out for drinks that night, which means I wouldn't have skipped my workout the next morning because I was too hungover to move. I wouldn't have put myself behind on my diet because I took in those empty calories. I wouldn't have given up a night that could have been used to actually relax and enjoy my own time before getting back into the work that needs to be done. And it sounds really dumb now, but I was afraid that if I said no, that I would no longer be welcome in those social groups, I would no longer get invited to things that I actually wanted to go to, and that was a real fear that existed at that time. But that was far from the case, and even if it was true, that just means that those people weren't in my tribe, and that's okay. Those aren't the people that I actually want to be around. Saying no, as simple as it is, has become a really powerful tool for me. I struggle with saying no because, well, one, the people-pleasing tendency that I talked about, but also I was afraid of seeming selfish and standoffish to my friends. What I've come to find out, especially in the past year, is that by saying no, you're actually building healthy boundaries within your relationships with your friends, with your family, whoever, right? And you're also giving yourself the ability to honor your own commitments and honor your own priorities. I made a video talking about how you're the main character in your story, and that's absolutely true. But you're just a side character in your friends' lives. And that doesn't mean that they don't care about you. But what it does mean is that they don't have a comprehensive grasp on all the commitments that you have. They don't know what you're responsible for. They don't know what promises you made to yourself. And why would they? Saying no is a tool of self-love and self-care because you're actively holding yourself accountable to the things that need to be done. On top of that, it's also a way to develop the skill of building boundaries for yourself that can help in your relationships, with your work, and pretty much with every aspect of your life. When your friends are asking you to hang out, right? They want to spend time with you, they want to go and do something that they think is fun. That's not them trying to sabotage you, right? Most of the time, there's no ill intent there. It should be no problem just to tell them, hey, I have a commitment that I made to myself to do this or that, and then just go do it, right? They're not trying to sabotage you and ruin all of your goals. And if they are the type of people to have a slick comeback and, make a big deal out of you not wanting to go or you not being able to go, those probably aren't the people that you want to spend time with anyways. And they're rare, but we all know who I'm talking about. It's the, dang, he's too good for us now because he's doing this or that, or, oh, I guess he has to go to the gym, he's too good to go to the bar or whatever. Those kind of people, they can go. The people that project their insecurities onto you, they project the things that they wish they were doing for themselves and kind of berate you for actually trying to work on yourselves, they're not doing anything for you, so those are probably the relationships that you can cut off. Now, what actionable steps can you actually take to get better at saying no? The main thing you can do is develop some self-awareness when it comes to knowing your priorities and your time. If you're committed to your relationship, to medical school, to the gym, to a workout program, to a running program, whatever, right? Whatever you're committed to, make a mental note of that, or even better, write it down on paper and keep a mental note on that and think, it takes this much time, I have to do this today, this tomorrow, this next week, or whatever. And make your decisions based on that mental list. And if you can't keep that mental list, put it on a calendar, put it on a piece of paper. Once you get a grasp of your commitments and the time they require of you, Then you should know if saying yes to something is overstretching and spreading yourself too thin. From there, the decision to say no should be clear. You know your needs and your limitations. You know what's required of you to get closer to where you want. And then you say no, right? And you don't be an ass about it, but you definitely be assertive about it and let them know that your commitments come first and you already have something that you have to do. If you want to make plans with them, offer them an alternative time, offer them an alternative plan, go out of your way to show them that it's not really because of them, it's because you have your commitments, not because you're trying to people please, but because you're not trying to be an ass, right? But at the same time, don't feel the need to fully explain yourself because you don't have to. I remember in the past, I would always try to come up with good, elaborate lies to my friends even about why I can't go out and hang out because I needed the reason why I'm not going out to be good enough. Nowadays, I just be straight up with my friends and tell them, I don't have anything planned today, but I don't want to go out with you because my social battery is kind of low. I'm just feeling a little drained. I just want to stay home and do absolutely nothing. It's just one of those days, and that's good enough. Unless it's for a special occasion, right? If it's a friend's birthday, graduation, housewarming party, whatever, that's when you probably want to reconsider if you should go or not. But otherwise, if you can't go, you already have commitments, that's okay. And the people that are haggling you about it, those are the people that don't respect your boundaries. They're not respecting your commitments to yourself, your own priorities. Those are probably the people that can go. And obviously, don't let other people tell you that your priorities, the things you're committed to in your life, shouldn't matter as much to you as they do. You'll run into people that will tell you that skipping workouts, runs, or even study sessions isn't a big deal. And it might not be for them, but if those are actions and commitments that you made for yourself, that makes all the difference. If I'm not attending an event or a hangout or a social or going bar hopping or whatever because I just don't have a social battery for it, I don't feel like it, if I just want to stay home and do absolutely nothing, that's a good enough reason for me and no one's gonna ever tell me otherwise again. And that fear that you're being perceived negatively, that you're being perceived as someone who's selfish, standoffish, doesn't want to hang out, you're too good for people, that's an irrational fear, right? Odds are if they're inviting you out, if they're inviting you to go hang out or go do these things, they like you, it's a positive thing, and you just let them know that you have commitments. And remember what we talked about before. People don't know about your day-to-day. My friends might know that I'm currently training for an ultramarathon, but that doesn't mean they know that it means running 30 to 40 miles every week for months. They might know that I'm training for a powerlifting meet, but that doesn't mean they know that I have to wake up before the sun rises every day to get my gym sessions in to make it work into my schedule. They don't see any of that, and that's okay. When I tell them no, it's because I have the foresight of my own priorities and my own schedule, so I make my decisions based on the things that I know, and if I can make alternative plans with them, I do. But I don't assume that it's coming from a place of ill intent. It's not coming from a place of sabotage. They're not trying to sabotage me. And I don't think they perceive me any worse or negatively because of that. A counterpoint that I think it's important to bring up is even though your superpower is saying no, like all superheroes, you're stronger and better off as a team. At the end of the day, humans all desire to be part of a social group. It's just how we're wired. And just in that, make sure you're prioritizing yourself and prioritizing the things that you need to get done. Say no when you have things to get done. Say no when you have commitments that you need to keep. Say no when your priorities don't allow you to go and do something. But be careful of saying no for no reason, right? Have a good reason to say no, otherwise you might just be self-isolating, and if that's the case, you might just end up alone. Build a community, right? Build your tribe, build and encourage your friends to do things that'll improve themselves too. For example, this half marathon that I'm running in April, I managed to convince a friend to run it with me, and that's something I'm really excited about. The powerlifting meet that I'm doing in April as well, I'm also doing it with a friend, right? Find the friends that you have common interests with and really embrace that and take advantage of that. Self-improvement is a very lonely journey most of the time, right? Most of the times you're in the gym by yourself. Most of the times you're running the miles by yourself. But when you have the opportunity, it doesn't have to be lonely, right? Iron sharpens iron. So if you're able to find a community and build a tribe that has people that are ready to encourage you and push you and become better all together, it's a win-win for every party involved. And if you feel like you've been self-isolated in your self-development journey so far, make sure you subscribe to this channel because this community that we're building for ourselves, we're all rooting for each other, we're all cheering each other on, and we're all together in the same mission of just trying to be better every single day, myself included. So by the time this video comes out, it's gonna be almost a month and a half past the start of 2024. How are your New Year's goals going, guys? I would love to hear it, so leave a comment down below. I'll tell you guys about mine, and I'll see you guys on the next video.